Good afternoon, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your second video blog of the day for Tuesday, April 28th, 2015, around 3:51 p.m. in Berwick, Massachusetts. Nice and sunny day out, but still coolish for this time of year. The wind feels it's still even colder. Feels like mid-March instead of late April. I did some yard work today, which is pretty good, but you know, I just wish spring would come. Some news to report. The Cavaliers general manager says that forward Kevin Love will probably miss the rest of the playoffs with his dislocated shoulder. That's a bad break for the Cavaliers. And prayers to former Major League Baseball player and manager Kurt Gibson, who's been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Prayers to him. And there's been rumors going around that the Pittsburgh Penguins might be looking to trade Eugenii Malkin from the team, because they have like Sidney Crosby's contract and Malkin's contract, and they said that that's a lot of money for tied up into players. That's what one hockey writer says, and that's about it on the news. My second video subject of the day is about the game show $1 Million Password, which was on CBS for about a year from June 1st, 2008 through June 14th, 2009. It was on prime time on CBS. They did not have an announcer. It was hosted by Regis Philbin, who knows a lot about millions of dollars in game shows. He hosted Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and it was produced by Fremantle Entertainment Productions, which took over the markets and Bill Todman game shows in the mid-1990s. And this was to capitalize on the $1 Million game shows over the years, and this was the first time Password was back in any variation since 1989, because there was rumors in the mid-90s that they were going to bring back Password for syndication, hosted by Gordon Elliott, but that did not come to be. And there was also rumors in the mid-2000s that Password was going to return as a GSN original, but that did not come to be. And game played has for $1 Million Password as follows. There were two teams, one celebrity and one contestant, playing like 4 rounds of kind of the lightning round version of Password, and they had 30 seconds to guess as much as 5 passwords in 30 seconds, and they could say with one-word clues. They could say as many clues they want to that word, but if they got stuck or on it, they could pass it, and if there was time, they could go back to it and stuff like that. And the first 2 rounds, it was the player and the celebrity giving clues alternating for each round. Then the second 2 rounds, the players switch celebrity partners, and they played another 2 rounds. And whoever had the most points at the end of the 4 rounds would win the game and go on for the chance for the $1 Million Password. The gameplay was similar to the $25,000 pyramid thing with like guessing clues and stuff like that. It was similar to the main game of the $25,000 pyramid. And then they went to play $1 Million Password bonus round, and it was a variation of it, like every time they would get certain amount of password, they get values of dollars amounts. The first level was $10,000. The contestants had to guess 5 passwords right within 10 of them. They could make a mistake without getting a password 5 times, and they had 90 seconds to do that. And they had a maximum of 3 clues to guess the password. If they did not get the password within 3 clues, that word was done over. You would have never seen it again, and stuff. Once they reached $10,000, then the contestant had a decision. They could continue risk it for the $25,000, which they would have to get 5 passwords within 9 5 out of 9 for $25,000 so they could quit. And then they played that round, and if they got all 5 of them right, they could get $25,000, and that was a guaranteed for them for money if they made it to the second round. And if they could go, and they had another decision tonight, they could walk away with the $25,000 or could risk it for $50,000, which they would have to guess 5 passwords within 8 passwords. And it was, they could continue on. If they got all 5 of them, they would get $50,000. If they didn't, they would leave with the guarantee of $25,000. And then if they got that right, they could walk away with $50,000, or they could go up to $100,000. But this time, they would have to get 5 passwords within 7 tries. If they did it, they would get the $100,000. If not, they would go home with $25,000. Then once they reached the $100,000 level, they could quit with the $100,000, but they could continue on to the $250,000 level. But they would only have to get 5 passwords within 6 of them, which they would only one mistake. They would have one mistake. If they got a second mistake, it would be over for them. But then if they got that, it would have $250,000. Then they could quit for the $250,000, or they could go for the $1 million. But they would have to get each password right. One mistake, the game would be over, and they would leave the $25,000 guarantee. And this was kind of a ratings winner for CBS in the summer months, and it got great ratings. They renewed it for a second season, which was a replacement in the wintertime. It was filmed in New York, but during the second season, briefly, it was filmed in Los Angeles, and they had a lot of big-name celebrities play this, like Betty White, Rachel Ray, Neil Patrick Harris, Chelsea Handler, a few others, and it was a big hit for CBS. Plus, they got Regis Philbin as host, which was awesome because he knows how to host $1 million game shows and stuff like that. Plus, Regis's personality, you're going to have a hit show no matter what. Regis Philbin could host a show with Julie Broughton, and it would be a hit because Regis Philbin has that personality and stuff like that. He's funny, he's smart, he's intelligent, he's a great guy, Regis Philbin. And $1 Million Password only had 12 episodes in it, which was pretty surprisingly disappointing because I thought $1 Million Password would be something that could go on for several years just as a summer show on CBS and stuff like that, because it was a great concept in my opinion, and stuff like bringing back a classic game show and adding the $1 million elements to it. And you know, it was a great hit. I wish one of these days they could bring back another classic game show, and they could have the $1 million elements to it, and reruns of like $1 Million Password was seen on GSN a couple of years ago. It's a great game show. That's about it on $1 Million Password. Well, I'll be back with the third and final video blog of the night, which will be about my personality profile, which tonight will be former NFL quarterback Bernie Kosar, who spent most of his career with the Cleveland Browns. It's the first of 3 nights of Cleveland's greatest sports athletes. And have a good day, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And go find something to do. Bye!